Andy, there's a picture of you standing in front of St Aidan as a young boy. Can you tell us the importance of the island to you and a little bit about your journey to get here?
I was a student in London, and I was having one of those arguments with the Almighty that I certainly have. I don't know whether everybody else does, but I was just letting off steam a bit and saying, okay, so where are you sending me? And it was intended really as a rhetorical question, and to my surprise I got an answer. And the answer was not in an audible voice, but was enough to make me turn round. I was so surprised. Was Holy Island. So I assumed that God was telling me to go away on retreat, and that he was avoiding answering my question about where he was sending me. And so I booked to come to Holy Island for a weekend, and by the time the weekend was out, it was very clear that he'd answered my question and that this was where I was supposed to be. So I finished my degree, and within a day or two came straight up to work on Holy Island, and it's been home ever since. I hadn't been here very long before I read the words "occupy till I come," so that seemed fairly definite that I would be here indefinitely. The Aidan picture, I suppose I was trying to make sense of what it was that was so different about Holy Island. You would constantly be bumping into people who were having experiences that they were trying to articulate when they just came to visit the island. Even people who came here not expecting anything to happen for them. They came with no expectation, and it was like they kind of bumped into God or bumped into things that arrested them, and they just needed to talk. And I heard the expression a thin place, which had originally been used talking about Iona, but a place where kind of heaven and earth seem to bump into each other, where the sort of veil between them is quite thin, rather than sort of like a thick skin on a rice pudding. And I tried to work out what was different about Holy Island. It was obviously a prayed-in place, and I tried to see what that was about. Quickly I came to the conclusion that Aidan and the guys who'd come here with him were what had changed this place, not necessarily people just praying now. And my question became, was it Aidan's prayers that were still operative now because he was still praying, or was it that Aidan had prayed things all those years ago that were kind of sitting there like a blank cheque waiting for somebody to cash in on them?
Touch the land.
Yes. And I haven't reached any conclusions about that, but I knew that there was something special about this place, and I think I lived my life in a way in the shadow of Aidan, kind of like mentally looking up into the face of this man who very simply came and lived his life in a way that touched so many people. And then long after I'd been here and knew I was going to be here forever, we suddenly came across this little picture, and it was a photo my dad had taken on the one other time I'd been to Holy Island as a boy, and he'd said, stand there in front of that while I take your picture. And there was me, you know, looking up into the face of Aidan, and retrospectively it seemed prophetic.